Defusekids have their eyes on the prize, looking at the first seed in Group C at that win. After that win versus Warden Esports, meaning that the Portuguese team is out of the tournament. They will go down and not make it into the top 2, which will let them advance into the knockout stage. But Defusekids does so, and they have been doing very well. I mean, once again, Moswarm, thank you for joining us on the desk. It is the Benelux team. It is the powerhouse that has shown up, that didn't have the best start in the Dutch league, but here EU Masters, they're looking very good.
Yeah, I'm positively surprised by how clean they play the game. Actually, from the early game onwards, from the second that they do get the lead, it's very calculated, never taking risks that they don't need to take, and they manage to take the win in a very clean game.
Yeah, you see that the boot camp pays off. I mean, they have been playing together for quite some time, put in a lot of work, as we've seen. And of course, the coach Jeeves has been doing a lot of things there as well. I mean, he showed his magic when it came to the finals, and here in EU Master Plans, he shows it again. I want to talk a bit about the pick and ban, because it was a bit awkward there. We see the set being flexed to support, but that Renekton in the top lane didn't really work out for Troubleinc. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first pick set is something that you see more regularly because it's such a good flex pick to either the top lane or the support position. However, versus Defusekids, you know, when Defusekids is on the red side, it's never going to pay off because they usually save their last pick to have a counter pick for Alois. So before Alois has his pick locked in, you're going to end up showing whether the set goes to the top lane or to the bot lane. At that point, For the Win realized that they then won a strong matchup for Troubleinc, as strong as they can get. So they picked the Renekton, forced the set towards the bot lane. However, the Renekton wasn't strong enough to actually hold the Aatrox back. And we see Alois with a similar performance in his match to the match that they played yesterday against For the Win.
Yeah, we see also quite some target bans here for Chapapi, the Serath, Azir, and Syndra being taken out. Dino, he picked up the Orianna, and he did actually pretty good on that.
Yeah, I was actually forced to fall back onto a pick that he doesn't really play that often. He always goes for those 3 that were banned out. And he actually put up some very great team fights. We saw him around the pit of the Baron flash forward on the Orianna to make an aggressive play. So big shout out to Chapapi for actually holding his own when his champion pool doesn't only get pinched, but he's up against LeBlanc.
Yeah, you also said during the game, you were pleasantly surprised about the way Defusekids was moving around the map early game.
Yeah, I don't know if they had a lot of practice against the Heimerdinger bot lane, but against Heimerdinger said you're not really ever going to have prio, and they choose to give up Dragons and Rift Heralds after rotations to take wins on the other side. They were always pushing the tower at the other side when For the Win was setting up for a Dragon or for a Rift Herald, and they actually didn't fall behind in gold, even though they gave up 2 Dragons and 1 Rift Herald.
Yeah, Moswarm, I want to talk a bit about Goose, because Goose picked up the Lucian. It's one of his signature picks. It's the pick he's most known for. But this player, Goose, who actually fell back 2 years ago, didn't really have the best teams, didn't really have the best results, now shows up really huge. And he doesn't only shown up in the finals for the Dutch League, but also your EU Masters. He is doing work on that Yasuo, on the Lucian.
Yeah, and he just knows how to play a couple of champions very well, especially the Lucian in this game. We see Defusekids picking up the Lucian Nautilus bot lane, which usually is something that you play very aggressive. However, For the Win completely neutralizes that matchup by putting the Heimerdinger in the bot lane, which makes Goose's life quite hard. And that's why you see them swapping around lanes in the early game quite often. And then Goose really gets to shine in the team fights once he gets those couple of items. He also picked Exhaust as a summon as well, because you know that it's either going to be Renekton or LeBlanc jumping on top of you. You get to exhaust them, and we even saw him picking up a solo kill against the LeBlanc. So a stellar performance by him here.
Yeah, our next matchup is going to be Defusekids versus Kenty. Defusekids looking up to lock up that first seed in Group C, meaning that they will most likely be taking on Sector 1, who will be the second seed for Group D if they keep on winning their games. Dino, you are a Belgian guy. We have this ongoing gag of the Dutch League being better than the Belgian League. I mean, this is your time to strike as a Belgian.
Yeah, and not only my time, but the entire Twitch chat of the Benelux scene will be looking at that game, because the memes have been going on for an entire split, and it's the first split for those 2 leagues. And if they actually get to face each other off in a knockout for European Masters, it just raises the stakes of a DL-BL clash. And the winner of that is just going to be the top goat for the rest of the next split, and the loser is going to take the rough end of the stick. So there are some possibilities that it isn't happening, but once it happens, it's going to be a very hype match. And yeah, they're both not going to want to lose that one.
Moswarm, the chances of Defusekids losing to Kenty, where would you put those?
I really don't know. We see Defusekids going for a very calculated game, which to me kind of tells me that they're gonna try the same style against Kenty, and Kenty kind of seems to thrive in chaotical games, where especially their bot laner Nemky gets to find the lead. Well, coincidentally, a very strong point of Defusekids as well is their strong bot lane. So I imagine that if they get a nice matchup in the bot lane, and if we see Hadess maybe play around the bot lane as well, then yeah, they shouldn't really have a chance against DK.
Yeah, that game versus Mad Lions where they upset them on the first day. They ban out the Ziggs, they ban out the Leona, they ban out the set. Everything that makes well, a hard stomp or makes it very hard for Hattricks was pulled out there. Now Mad Lions won that game. Kenty had that lose, and Kenty, they need to win if they want to keep their dreams alive for European Masters. So I think we are going to that pick and ban, and we are going to find out if Kenty is going to have a fun time or a bad time versus Defusekids, because we're going to head over to that pick and ban. It's Kenty taking on Defusekids, who are looking for that first seed in Group C.
Thank you very much, Koolein, Dino, and Bard. My name is March Chronicler. So I'm joined here by Georgia, Troubleinc, Paris. Is Paris? I don't want to do you any
It's
injustice.
Paras.
It's Paras. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. We are very excited to get into the game here between Kenty, which you're very excited for, and I got to say, after that Mad Lions win, I'm actually pretty excited as well. And DK, who have just locked in second place, and if they take this win, I'm pretty sure they'll look first place. And as a Benelux fan, this pleases me.
Yeah, actually, I was really excited to see the Kenty versus Mad again, which we cast before, and it felt like Mad found different ways of coming back. We saw their ADC coming back into life. We're like, oh wow, it's all about hat tricks, but no, they played towards their bot side. They were able to snowball through there, and of course now Defusekids and Kenty. Oh, I was like, yes, they did have won the 3-0. Yeah, and today, I think they lost to the fastest loss ever in EU Masters play-ins. 19 minutes and 57 seconds was For the Win's win.
Against For the Win.
I was like,
who were just so like surgically dismantled by Defusekids.
It's crazy. Like, one day you beat Mad, and the other day you lose to For the Win. I'm like so confused. Wait, coin flip region? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've casted the Belgian league. I know my thing or two. I know a thing or two about coin flips. But yeah, you gotta say, I've cast a lot of these teams as well that really thrive in creating chaos and then never giving the opposing team an opportunity to relent. Would you say that is what Kenty needs to do here against DK as well?
I think it's more about calculated play and great drafts. There have been a few holes in their drafts. For example, putting Nemky on the auto-attack Varus. I don't think it benefited the way the team whatsoever play. Put him on something that he can be a little bit more factor. He is your star player. He is the one that needs to shine to push through. And it's just, I think, calculated play during the game, because I felt like a lot of the decision making was kind of split between the players. Half of the players were doing something, half of the other players were doing something else. And in these split-second decisions, if there are too many calls and too many things you're following, it's going to fall apart against teams such as, of course, Mad and Defusekids, because they are looking way too strong as well.
But then my question to you is, after seeing that game just now, do you really think that playing straight up League of Legends against the Defusekids is the way to go? Even after the way that Kenty won against Mad and against the fact that they lost in 20 minutes. And of course, we all know there's no direct correlation. Like if Team A beats Team B, that doesn't guarantee that then Team A will also win against Team C, right? There can be teams that match up in certain ways. But generally, when it's that convincing and when the teams that you just lost again in 20 minutes gets that surgically dismantled, I gotta say, I'm scared here for Kenty, but I know you're very, very passionate about them, so I'm also excited to get the opportunity to cast them here.
It's just because like casting region, of course, you're gonna connect with them, but I do see drive and passion in the players and in the team that I wanna see them thrive. Of course, I cannot ignore the fact that Defusekids are doing the exact same thing. Same with Mud, they're coming in, wanna win, they wanna get into the main stage of EU Masters. Of course, it's the way to show the star players. It's the way to try and get into the LEC, that one step above that we mentioned before. Now, of course, back to your question. I think Defusekids play quote unquote proper League of Legends. You know, they have their carries, they have their carries set, and you know where to look at. You look at Chapapi, you look at Alois absorbing all the pressure. You know, they're making their plays through Hadess, which is great at finding these opportunities to find some holes into the enemy jungle or ganks, and it just shows that they have studied their gameplay.
So, all that you're really saying here to me is that Kenty's going to get stomped, and I wholeheartedly agree with Defusekids.
No. Listen.
That's
That's 50-50.
That's what I took away from it.
Going to be 50-50. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the 50-minute game Kenty or the 19-minute Kenty showing now.
Okay, so let's take a look at the draft. And then after draft, I'll ask you for a prediction again. We've seen the Blitzcrank, which makes a lot of sense. And it's nice for those of you who haven't seen the Defusekids in EU Masters. I think a year ago, I also played Blitzcrank and against, if I remember correctly, LDLC. And they were one hook away from winning the game 5 or 6 times. That was not a good. Blitzcrank gets banned now against Kenty because Mad lost to that misfortune, and the lead's also taken away. And on the other hand, we have the Senna banned away from Goose. I also expect the Aphelios ban and the Zeref here taken away as well, as Kenty is going to be looking at a first pick here from the Defusekids.
It has to be the Azir. Just do it.
Oh.
Do it, Kenty. You know you just want a bunch of Palfies Azir. You don't want to allow this. Oh,
that's an entirely different direction there.
I think I got 1 ban out of 6. We talked about the bans a little bit beforehand.
You don't admit that on stream though. They would never know. I mean, I might call you out on it, but like generally I wouldn't.
But listen, all the champions that I thought were going to get banned out because these guys thrive on are still in play. You've got the Dianas, you've got the Aphelios, you've got the Thresh.
It's going to be Aphelios. It always is. It's going to be Aphelios.
Like everything is in there.
It's going to be. There we go. Thank you, Defusekids, for making me look smart. We've got a lot of this. Now, do Kenty look in the Jarvan, though? Because that has traditionally been Goose's nightmare. Defusekids had a 4-game losing streak. Then they started banning J4 in every draft, first round, and then they stopped losing. But instead, it looks like it's going to be the Lee Sin here coming out from Warden. Warden, for me, has been the most flashy player in terms of like consistency from Kenty, because I feel like the way that he finds engages and like finds backlines consistently is really impressive.
Yeah, Warden was one of the reasons why Kenty was able to pull the win versus Mad yesterday. He played Lee Sin, he played it to perfection. I will agree with you, when I usually see an Aphelios on one team and Jarvan is up and available, you warrior it up and you just dunk the backline with the Cataclysm and pray that this Aphelios gets zoned out or even dies. Now, of course, Warden still has access in the backline with the Lee Sin and can do sort of the same thing. Nemky is going to opt to go for the Varus again. I'm not the biggest fan of Nemky on Varus, but I'm going to take it again because I don't have a choice. He picked it. He lost it already.
It's going to be lethality Varus, though, with what we're seeing so far from the Defusekids.
I've seen both coming in from Nemky, actually.
Very well. Yeah. Leona, though, Leona Varus is a very strong 2v2 lane, paired up with a Lee Sin, and you do have a lot of opportunities. There comes the Azir ban, which you were really, really hoping for, does come through here, and we are looking at, traditionally, as per usual of the Defusekids, saving Alois' pick for last, but do you think Kenty is going to wait with that top lane until R5, or are they going to give that opportunity over to Rimtuolis?
I think it's going to be Rimtuolis. He is one of the players where he's either going to shine or he's going to repetitively get ganked and fall down. So I think it's good to prioritize Rimtuolis. There's still a lot of picks for the top lane. Set has somehow made its way through the second rotation without getting banned yet. So there is that. There are picks like the Mordekaiser that Smackler has played a lot of, Maokai's Cho'Gaths. There's so many picks right there that you can blindly pick.
Hello.
Do it!
Yes. Yeah, so Rimtuolis on Diana.
Oh yes,
Talk-
that's the 100% win rate Diana right there. That's
Talk
either
Rimtuolis to
100%
me.
pick or banned versus him in the Baltics. Mostly banned against him. He's not allowed to play. This guy's gonna blind pick that no matter who plays against him. Now the Syndra being available makes it quite hard in his laning phase. But I'm just gonna wait and see because Rimtuolis on the Diana is like,
You know,
it's the cherry on top.
I see a composition from Kenty here, which goes very aggressively on
Everyone dives on you.
on a silly goose, which traditionally is how you beat the Defusekids. If Alois doesn't snowball, now it's so interesting to me that Alois his Aatrox gets banned because again he didn't play the champion for a year, and he's picked it up I think exclusively since EU Masters, and now it's banned because he hard carries on it, and he will be looking in the Gangplank here, the traditional weak side top laner here. No. There's a couple of,
he looked really strong.
I was like, wait, no, never mind. Leona, you can't flex Leona, and they're not going to. The Wukong pickup here will make a lot of sense.
I don't want to see the Wukong. I do.
Yeah. Yes, and so you know, Kenty, you have a composition that does one thing very well. It's dive on Goose. I respect that. I think that's a good game plan. I love it.
You know what else would be really great at diving on Goose? Also relieving the back line of Kenty from anyone diving in, being tanky and throwing out a ton of damage. Set, who doesn't lose to anyone in lane, and also does everything that Wukong does, and I think a little bit more successfully, because Wukong is kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, but does he have 2 cyclones?
Come on.
I mean, last time I checked, Sat doesn't have 2 cyclones, Troubleinc.
You win that cyclone, of course.
All jokes aside, I think Sat indeed, in a vacuum, is a much stronger laner. I do feel like against the Gangplank specifically, that is a matchup that Alois 1 has played endlessly, and is also one that Gangplank can very reliably play out, right? You can just hang back, you can farm and scale up, because I don't feel like the Sat, if he's not in a melee matchup, can really punish as much. With Wukong, though, the kill potential is definitely there, but thus far, the Wukongs we've seen have not been great, and I'm going to ask you now again. Okay. We've seen the draft here. Who's going to take this?
Okay, so if we're talking about early game, I like...
No. The W. I can't going to do it, yes or no?
Listen.
That's all I want to hear.
Come on. I'm just going to go with Kenty, all right? But let me...
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. Kenty's going to take the win.
I just like the early game. I like the fact that the Lee Sin can go from lane to lane to lane, and there's reliable CC, and it is from everyone. And if you look at that Gangplank immobile, Syndra immobile, Aphelios immobile, you can get SpieleAufDe roaming all over the map and creating opportunities, especially in the mid lane. You get Rimtuolis ahead on that Diana. Oh baby, whole hell is gonna break loose and fall on Goose's head, like you called it as well. So I do like the aggression. I do like the fact that they want to take care of this game straight from the bat, from the very early beginning of the game. But on the other hand, if he falls out of their control, the late game potential from DK, oh boy.
As it looks like we will be getting into game here, and this is I think the last regular game. Oh no, we've one more game scheduled after this, don't we? Or is this the last regular game of the evening?
No, we have one more, I think.
One more game, but it's not really sense. So we're gonna find out what happens. But before that, we shouldn't be too hasty to see that we need to play out this game. I'm, of course, going to go with Defusekids. I love your enthusiasm of Kenty, but it is not shared by me. Although, as mentioned previously...
I've turned everyone into a Kenty enthusiast in this past, and you're not buying it yet?
I'm very hard to get enthusiastic. No, okay, that's not true. I'm very easy to get enthusiastic, but I'm just more enthusiastic about my band look. So we got a real clash of the regions going on here, as we do see that Nemky has gone for the on-hit Varus, which I feel like it's kind of again. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a risk against things like the Gangplank, the Syndra, where you don't really have the opportunity to move in range.
For sure.
And there's no tanks on the side of DK.
God, why? me, there's literally so many chances for that Q to hit, and then Rimtuolis just dives into the backline to finish someone off.
Because it works
And then
better with the comp as well, right?
Yeah, and then Nemky's like, I'm just gonna play traditional ADC. And I respect the man. I respect his traditional ADC because I've seen him thrive on it. But I also really respect when you're able to adjust to a team comp and a team play style. And it feels like Nemky has played the poke Varus before, and it's worked wonders. We just have to wait and see. He's probably just want to go with some on-hit, get some lifesteal in there, and try to maybe keep busy whoever is going to dive him. Because if you look at the rest of the team, I don't think anyone's going to be staying around Nemky to try and protect him. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go and hit, grab some lifesteal, I have my exhaust, I'll try to survive as much as I can while you guys kill something.
Looks like we might have a small vertical jungling situation on the hands here. Chapapi does know that Warden is there on the top side. He was spotted by Ward initially. Warden now looks to be making his way over to his own blue buff, trying to triple buff Hadess. I'm not sure whether or not Hadess can actually make it out, but the rotation here is there. It's just going to be an even trade.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the purpose of all that was. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to steal each other's buffs. And then what? You didn't necessarily split the map, so someone has to be scared. Everyone is towards the bot side of the map, where nothing really is happening. The lane prior goes to no one, so everyone knows fine. Junglers are on the bot side, but now Hadess is the one heading up top. And Smuggler is very susceptible to ganks because he usually never respects the fact that he doesn't know where the enemy jungler is on the map.
I feel like he should be fairly aware for the junglers because Hadess cleared his bot side camps. Ward will spot him out though, and Alois, of course, here in the early game, not the greatest of impacts here on the Gangplank. Hadess just going to go for a flash in with Halo Blades there. Tries to go for the final auto, does not find any place he can do it. It will not, but it does force the flash out of Smuggler, which will make that lane a lot harder. On the flip side, though, Hadess also a lot less precious. Here comes the engage from Spiele. And Goose and Naima is actually handshaking his fires. Warden does find a flash. Spiele goes deep, but it's not enough. Uses his flash as well. And it's a flash for first trade. Feel like that wasn't necessary coming out from Leona.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think that was a little bit overzealous from SpieleAufDe. He's like, I got him, I can just flash and Q. But Nemky was all the way out the back, and now it's both the supports losing their flash and being very susceptible to getting ganked. They're both immobile. Sure, they're tanky-ish, but it's only the start of this game.
As we now see the bot lane get pretty even. Spiele needs to be careful there.
Hadess is coming around.
And look at Goose. Oh, that flamethrower, that's not good. And neither is that hook. Spiele does get tagged up by Gravitum, and that's going to be the end of that. Goose wanting to make sure that he picks up that kill. One Older will do it. Spiele stays alive for a bit longer, but that's first blood on the hard carry. And you might be wondering, why is the stream going grey every now and then? We are having some lag in the observer feed. Not a lot we can do about that, but rest assured that we will try to keep it to a minimum. And I'll give you more of this prime gameplay where Goose just got a first kill, and I've seen this one happen before in the Benelux, and it's usually not pretty.
Yeah, and I like how Hadess was already pathing towards the bot. We just said that both the supports lost their flashes, and they're both not tanky enough yet, which means types of junglers like the Rek'Sai and the Lee Sin will pump more damage than a Nautilus and a Leona can withstand at this point in time. There are no items in, and now the bot lane could be a lane that you can repeatedly hit if you're Hadess, or just roll mid.
Scatter the Weak does hit, and then, oh, nightmares! That's not supposed to hit. There we go, Rimtuolis is flash force.
That's a Nautilus. I'm sorry, but that's a Nautilus. Whatever is not supposed to hit, it hits. That's how it goes.
You know what I love? That Nightmares also knows that the hook's going to hit, because he goes for it, as Goose really wants to go to the minion wave. Should not go to the minion wave, because he has Cleanse and Flash, and wants to keep that wave for when Solar Flower and Chains of Eruption come up. Knows that Spiele is there. She's going to play Respect Fear. Lane is slowly pushing towards him. Nightmares now makes his way back. And thus far, it's been the Defusekids who have been dictating the pace of this game early, which with Kenty's comp isn't necessarily a problem, because I don't feel like they necessarily get outscaled. But I do feel like if you fall behind with Kenty's comp, it's going to be a very sad affair.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially having types like the Dianas and the Lee Sins who are not that great. going very far into the late game when all these defenses have been built. Rimtuolis is going to get caught right here again, and he has more than... Oh, boy.
Yeah. That is assist picked up there as well for the Gangplank, just making sure that they get taken down. As there we see Nightmares and Co picking up another kill there, and the gold lead is getting bigger and bigger now.
Thing is, if you look on the map, there's like top laner with no flash, mid laner with no flash, support with no flash for Kenty. Hadess is like scratching his head. It's like, which juicy target do I want to go for this time? It's literally like a playground for Hadess right now. Whichever lane he chooses to go for, he has access to. The Scatter the Wake in the middle. There's Nightmares with his anchors who literally have an insane radius. I think the only potential lane where you can't go for is top lane. I'm happy for SpieleAufDe that Zenith Blade did not hit right there.
No.
Because it could potentially just have sent him back into the fountain.
No, this 3v3 is not one you want to take, as Defusekids now 2k gold up. And I am wondering to see if Defusekids is also going to leverage this into a follow-up play as a Smackler. Well, look at Rimtuolis, though. He's making his way topside, trying to look...
Nah, it was just a joke.
Yeah, never mind. No roam coming out. So, we're 8 minutes in. Defusekids is 2k up. How are you feeling about your Kenty prediction, Troubleinc?
No, listen. You're putting me on the spawn again. I don't like that. Right, so I just want to see them. I know that this Rimtuolis, if he gets 1 kill on the Diana, he can pop off. You saw 3 members diving him. You saw 3 members diving him, and he was able to get all 3 below 50% HP. This is what he does. This guy's insane on that champion. The champion is really strong as well. And now, due to the back timers from DK, Kenty is able to find a really good objective, getting the Shelly, trying to put some early gold that right now they're behind into somebody's pocket.
Actually, interesting though is that even though Goose picked up an early kill, he has had to really respect the Varus Leona bot lane, which has so much dueling power, which has led to a set deficit. So like that lead that he has isn't even that big, and it's not like it's going to be a really big wave which is going to crash into his turret. So all in all, Kenty here 2k gold behind, but like you said, it's definitely not over yet. There's still plenty of opportunity for them to make it back into the game, as long as they don't fall much further behind. And things like the Rift Tower can give you the opportunity, but none of the turrets look low enough, meaning that you might drop it, but it's going to be for just plates, which isn't the greatest of deals.
Yeah, and you have to remember that Goose is behind in CS because most of the time Nightmares is not in lane. So like you said, he has to respect the Leona Varus combo right there. Leona almost level 6. Sure, you're going to be able to cleanse 1 stun, but the other one is most likely going to land on you. And if they catch him alone onto this lane, oh, they want to take the 2v2?
And they do make it through there. A Solar Flare also gets used very aggressively. Hook comes back now, trying to make something work there, but it is not enough. And
it's so distinct. It's so distinct because SpieleAufDe is like, I'm gonna go into the Nautilus, and then the rest of the guys are like, but we don't see Rek'Sai and Syndra, and they could be coming bot lane.
But also you're engaging on Nautilus with Aftershock.
I think that's fine at this point because again he prioritized the Moby boots instead of some like extra armor right there for the bot side. But I think SpieleAufDe has been playing in general today very, very aggressively for not his own good.
Flash available here for Hadess. He can just get over the wall, flash on top of him if he so chooses to. Nightmares goes forward as well. There he goes. That's the hook. And we do see the Cannon Barrage immediately being used. Death Charge also used there on Nemky. Very nice chain of corruption, meaning that he will not be taking any damage himself, but his support does bite the dust. And it's yet another kill for the Defusekids, who are looking to snowball this game out of control rapidly. Nemky is there. He does have backup from Warden, but I don't think that that's really enough to really get him out of there. The Defusekids can't really make the dive here, though.
No, and it's a little bit scary to try and dive a Varus with Flash and Exhaust. I think Exhaust is very powerful, especially since the time on it has been extended to 3 seconds. So somebody slowed for an extended period of time, and underneath a tower, that could mean someone's death. So I think it was very wise from DK right here to not pull the trigger, but still they keep on punishing. They're pushing the wave in. That means Nemky loses even more experience and CS, which means gold. But now Kenty managed to get a really nice flank in the mid lane.
And we do see Chapapi being somewhat overextended there. Needs to be careful. Is he going to be able to dodge a skill shot? That's a very nice flash. It's Scatter the Weak. And it's going to be a successful gank. You do force the flash out of there. It doesn't really cost you anything. And that's going to mean that Chapapi needs to be a lot more careful against this Diana, because as you said before, Rimtuolis is all in. Is going to remain as strong as ever. Not sure how I feel about trying to contest the scuttle here, though. Meanwhile, Smackler, Rimtuolis?
Hello?
Oh, that didn't go well. As I was saying, I feel like individually we're starting to see growing gaps here, because Alois is currently up on weak side Gangplank, a solid 30 CS.
Yeah, and again, this is why when you're on the back foot, you don't get to pull out something that's new, something that you're still trying out. Kenty, this is like your life on the line, this game. You lose this game, you're out. You win this game, you pray that for the win, beat mad so you can move forward. And going with the Wukong, sure, it's strong later in the team fights, but that is a scaling Gangplank that, in my opinion, is much more strong in late game.
He's 1,200 gold up.
Yeah.
We're at 12 minutes. That's nothing has happened on top lane. It's not a good time. As we see Shelly being used, as we said, it's going to be mainly for the plates, but Hadess looking for a play if Kenty decides to go for something more aggressive.
Whoa.
And
was that all the gold going to Warden?
Ooh, let's take a look here. I think it was, yeah. Warden are now even with Hadess, which is good.
Nemky's like standing still there. He's like,
yeah.
But that was meant to be my gold.
I mean, Varus really likes some gold. And unfortunately, not the case.
Okay, Hadess making his way downtown yet again.
And is he going to actually find the play there? I mean, Nightmares in of itself already does more than enough damage. Graviton does get used there to CC Spiele a little bit. They don't want to invest the Cannon Barrage, though, and just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, and they're constantly threatening the dive in the bot, so they're gonna try it right now.
And there goes Jap Charge. There goes Cannon Barrage. A final auto attack from Goose lands that, and that means a double kill for the AD carry of the Defusekids. And I'm not even like I know this might be early, but thus far it's been a perfect game for the Defusekids.
So the problem is with Aphelios that he's been quite nerfed in the early game. He doesn't output as much damage anymore. His survivability has been hit quite a bit. But like when you have a 4-0 Aphelios 14 minutes into the game, he has quite been accelerated into the game. Now, something that not a lot of people are talking about because they see Goose, they see Chapapi popping off, but nobody talks about Alois. Alois is one of the most solid top laners I've seen in the entire playing so far. Yep. He absorbs every gank, every pressure thrown towards him. He'll be ahead in CS, ahead in experience, even though he's like repeatedly hit from so many people up top. And of course, when he's left alone in his own devices, he's going to be even further ahead. Now, picking the Gangplank means that you also have the Cannon Barrage, and he's grabbed 3 assists as well by globally affecting the map. And so far, Rimtuolis is sitting on 0-2. He's like, guys, I'm a Diana, I want this.
I love me some Dav brushes. There's 4 people here from Kenty, which, you know, does it make sense? Kind of, because you can go for the Rift Herald here. Maybe go for a cheeky turret. You're also giving up an Ocean Drake, which in the grand scheme of things isn't the worst. We both have the Infernal and the Cloud Soul still on the table here. Nemky, though, doesn't have Flash, will be able to get away. And that top side move from Kenty at least gets in the second Rift Herald. First one, though, only got 2 plates. And I'm not sure with how the game is currently looking. At 15 minutes, we see a 5k gold lead for the Defusekids with a composition that does generally well, skills amazingly into the late game, and Kenty has an all-in comp.
It just baffles me, the fact that you're leaving your last pick as a top lane counter pick, and then you counter pick your own self.
Yeah.
Why would you do this to yourself?
That's not great. And the thing with Gangplank is, because we've seen this happen as well, because Alois is a big Gangplank enjoyer. In the battle looks, he gets dived repeatedly. And the problem with Alois kind of is that, like, it doesn't matter what you do. Eventually, he will hit 10 CS per minute. And we've seen this happen, literally, when he got killed twice with a lane swap. And then still hit that eventually at a later point in the game. But if you don't dive the Gangplank, if you just leave him to his own device, as we see here, it's not good.
They're
perfect
continuing.
game has been broken, though, because we've seen a first turret go down. So that is actually not going to happen, which, you know, shame on the Defusekids. Kind of disappointing, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but to be fair, opening the mid lane tower is much more useful than just taking the top side. But I think Kenty want to fight here.
And Goose does find the flash there. There we go. Smackler goes very deep on Nightmare, so it is really tanky. Hadess finds some damage here. Nightmares might go down. Ooh! Beautiful stopwatch though, and look at the damage coming through from Goose and Nightmares. They do not care at all. As Spiele now, yeah, he's on his own. This was a 4v5. Whoa! That was a quadra kill for Goose. Alois wasn't there. So, what was the time that Kenty lost last game?
19 minutes and 57 seconds. I don't think DK is going to top that.
No, I don't think so either. But I think it's going to be close. So, you know, I think these are the types of games where now that we have
so many questions,
Chronicler.
We have so many questions.
We have a 9k gold lead at 70 minutes. Then I'm going to ask you, how has your EU Masters been thus far? Have you enjoyed yourself? Because I could ask you about opportunities for Kenty to come back here, but I think the other, you know, the other opportunity I'm giving you is a bit more fruitful ground for conversation.
It sounds happier. It sounds.
Tell me.
Yeah. It
definitely sounds happier. It
sparks more joy than me talking about Kenty right now.
Yeah. So tell me, how has your Masters been? Because you had the opportunity, you know, there's all these casters that came together. I mean, I've casted with people I've never casted with before, which has been amazing.
Same.
And yeah, so talk to me about your EUM experience.
It's actually absolutely lovely to see different types of casters and casting with different types of casters. It's kind of like reinventing yourself as well to try and fit in, try to make it as enjoyable as you can with every single member. What is happening right here? Oh, Rimtuolis
down, and he finds the shutdown.
That's my boy.
He does die, but that is a kill. They're on the board. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Probably not, but Kenty does find a big shutdown as Rimtuolis gets the kill that he needed, maybe just not in time.
Now, I have to say, I'm not quite sure how hard the Wukong scales into the late game, but I'm pretty sure that the Gangplank does even better anyway.
What? Why will...
Wait, Smackler?
Oh, okay, Smackler. Finding the one...
We see you. We see you on the board.
Okay. So, more about your EUM experience in a little, because it looks like Kenty is still hanging in this game. So,
listen. Now we got to talk about Kenty. Yeah. Now that they're bringing it back, let's talk about Kenty.
Okay. Hold your horses. Bringing it back is a bit premature. We have a dragon spawning in the next 1.5 minutes. If that fight... I
told you, Rimtuolis needs 1 kill. He got his 1 kill.
That's the one. That's all he needs. But listen, what does Kenty need to do to come back here? Because it seems almost insurmountable. It's almost 10k gold or 9k gold lead at 20 minutes. You're down 3 turrets. You have an all-in composition that's facing down so much damage. What do you do here?
I actually like what they have started doing, which is splitting around the map and trying to get these solo picks, such as what Rimtuolis did onto the Aphelios, and then we had Smackler onto Hadess on the Rek'Sai. So trying to find these solo skirmishes around the map, I think is what's going to get them back into the game, because they were able to cash into huge bounties onto themselves as well. Oh, no. They're closing in on the bot side. I don't know about this one, Chronicler.
I mean, I think Rimtuolis up. Well, they got spotted.
2v4, go!
That means they're both dead. Yeah, that's not a good situation to be in. Man. As we've seen him get unceremoniously demolished. Meanwhile, Cloud Dragon spawning, decay, of course. I mean, you know, you get Gangplank who can cannon barrage and then run in, I guess. Nightmares can follow up better. Like, I guess it's not as bad. I feel like with Cloud Dragon, we're always trying to like looking for the positives, whereas other Drakes, it's very obvious. So back to my earlier question. Tell me more about EU Masters, because you mentioned different casters, of course. In the Baltics, you've had the pleasure of casting with none other than the legendary...
The legendary Viferood.
Will is such a good guy. Like, he's such a good dude.
We love you, Will.
We love you, Will. I don't know if you're watching. I don't know if you can hear us, but, you know, we're speaking out to your soul. And we're both very fond of you. But outside of that, tell me, what's been your most exciting thing so far that isn't Kenty upsetting Mad Lions?
Oh, I think it has to be learning so much about different regions and their playstyles and seeing new players. It kind of really excites me when an underdog gets a good story, and there's like so many of them rising right now, and all the new players coming in, that I knew nothing about, and now I see them, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see more of you. I can't wait to see you, you know, move forward. And one day when you join like a big team, I'll be like, oh, I remember this guy. He was playing so and so, and he didn't even make it to the proper EU Masters, you know, main stage. He was in the planes. He had to go through so much. I think it's the stories that excite me the most about players. This is why I think I'm so tied to the Baltics as well, because it's like the small underdogs trying to make a name for themselves.
Yes. Oh, Hadess spots them though. Oh no, that's bad. The gang got spotted, guys. Get out of there. Dash gets interrupted, and that's going to be that. Chapapi also having a banger of a game. As Goose just cleanses and keeps going after Spiel. I don't know why you flashed that, Leona. That's a bit unnecessary, but look at that.
You asked me how they come back, and the thing is, I like what they're doing right now in the bot.
Alois is dying.
Yeah, they're catching someone off in the bot side of the map. They're trying to kill Alois in the bot side.
Of course,
yeah, they're probably gonna trade it for a Baron right now. But
well, I think he's gonna get a return kill as well if they're not careful.
I would just rather see Kenty. Yeah, I would just rather see Kenty wait for someone to boost their waves. Oh boy.
Alois, are you kidding?
You can't do that, man. Listen, he's 007. He's 007. He's allowed to do that.
Oh my god. Alois is actually James Bond. Like 3 people try to kill him. Alois, if you die there, no one will ever look at you differently, right? Because you sacrifice yourself for Baron. But he gets out? He didn't have flash. He was against Lee Sin and Diana.
Okay. We're getting back at it. All right. 12,000 gold lead.
Yes, I love it.
For DK, yeah, I think that they're actually doing fantastically. They're using their assets so correctly in general. I'm so impressed by the way they're playing in general, and the fact that every single member of theirs can pop off in many different games. So one game you have Chapapi doing the 1v9, then you've got Goose on his Lucian showing off, then you've got Alois on something like the Camille, and the Gangplank coming in the late game and surviving 3 people apparently chasing him. So I think it's like, sure, the gameplay, but so much individual talent as well.
Yeah, I think outside of Alois, who at least in the Benelux has been like notorious for being one of the, if not the strongest mechanical player that we have, and Goose actually also being notorious for that. I think Hadess and Chapapi have impressed me the most, because when we talk about Defusekids in the regular season in Dutch League, it's been about Alois and Goose. But I feel like here at EU Masters, we've seen both Chapapi and Hadess step up in a big way, and that's you know, really good for me to see, because that means that maybe they will do better in make it past planes as well, which would be gorgeous, as we see an engage come through. So much gold. Slap them with your wallets, DK. As we get a beautiful ultimate from Rimtuolis. He drags everyone in, but it's not even enough. As Goose goes forward. DK has made too much bank, and I think that is going to be all she wrote on this one, Troubleinc. I'd love to cast longer with you, but are they going to go with it? They do have a wave. It's coming in a little bit. The death times are kind of long. I think they're just going to do it here. They have the Baron buff as well. Nothing can stop the Defusekids, who are going with this to secure first place in their group. And that is a big surprise. Kenty, they gave it their all, but they got 3 kills against 21. And that's generally not how great games go, or feel at least.
Again, some of my question marks a lot for Kenty come from the drafting phase. Again, if you're on the red side, usually you will go for the counter pick for something. Like your counter pick jungle, your counter pick mid or top mostly, but we've seen jungle counter picks as well. And right here, sure, save it for Smuggler, because Rimtuolis feels very strong about Diana, so he can blind pick it. But then don't go in and counter pick yourself, because Alois was like, haha, I'm running free.
I mean, I feel like with the Gangplank, you just need a topside pick that bullies him early and then gets in early trades, and then you can dive him, and then you do that like 3 or 4 times. And then Alois,
Pantheon,
like, and Alois is still going to do that, right? But like then you have 40 minutes instead of the like what 12 that you had now. I think you had like a 1200 gold lead at 12 minutes. So
yeah, God.
All in all, I got it at my. I would have done the same thing. Even if my team would have been the underdog, I would have given the call. So I respect you for that. All in all, though, convincing win here. No stunts from Kenty this time, and the Defusekids are looking like an entirely different team than I've casted the entire season, and that's good. And that I think means that, yeah, as I said before, that means Defusekids definitely gonna get first place. It also means that Kenty is definitely out of contention. Question mark to you?
So as well. They have gone 2 and 4, from what I know. And there's not been another team that's 2 and 4, because so far Mad has 3 wins already. So it is going to be between Mad and Defusekids. Yeah.
Very well. And on that note, we are going to go to a short break, and then we'll be back, because if I know play-ins, we're not going to be done for a long time. So short break, and then we'll see you right back.